Hi, my name is Mandrid, and I'm playing Star Citizen 3.17.2. These recordings were all taken during the Nine Tails event on September 18th, a Sunday. There is one more event for Nine Tails Blockade on Tuesday. So that's September 20th. So if you want to try some of these things out, you can do it then. It's a whole lot of fun. And you don't need anything to get started. Just a basic starter ship, or even if you're playing for free, you can still do these things, I'm pretty sure. Here, where this was actually before the event, I'm just getting my practice on. This is Gascott's C2, and I board the ship like 2 hours before the event, like right when the announcements start. It is a 2-hour announcement windup, unfortunately. Horrible design. But I ended up waiting on a ship for an hour and a half before we ended up 30K'ing with nothing to show for it, so that was fun. Here is, again, the event hasn't started, but I approach in an Aurora because I'm trying to do sneaky insertions. And so I set the ship to cruise control at 10 meters per second, and I bail out the side door and fall on my ass. And I realized that I actually hit the side of the Aurora because the physics doesn't retain your momentum when you're switching between physics grids. It brings you to a full stop. It can get you killed, actually, if you're going fast enough in the Aurora. When you jump in out the side, it will kill you. So usually a ship with a ramp on the back is a better idea. So here we're on Biggie the Merchant's Caterpillar, and unfortunately, he has no medical supplies on board. The event is like just starting, just about to start. I don't know what's going on at this point, but I race him to the pilot seat, take it, and I check the cargo, and there's nothing on it. So I decided it's not worth ransoming him. Oh my gosh, English hard. So whatever, I give him his ship back. There was no point. Plus, there's some sort of karma thing about doing that, I guess. Honor amongst thieves, Don't be a straight-up marauder, murderer if you don't have to. But right outside the Caterpillar, here is a C2. This is probably the highlight of the night. This is Addercap. Addercap has already purchased all the medical supplies and accidentally calls down the elevator without fully checking the landing gear of the C2. And for some reason, Addercap is a little bit too trusting and sends the elevator up, even with me on it. And it wouldn't even matter, by the way, because the C2 does have a flaw where after 2 minutes, if you have an elevator down for 2 minutes on the C2, the elevator will automatically just go back up. You don't have to send it up. Doesn't matter if there's a hostile player on it and you're trying to prevent the elevator from going up. It's not going to happen. It's just going to go. So I race Addercap to the pilot seat, and I fumble on the seat a bit, but I do end up getting it. I don't know why it was like that. And Addercap, being the highlight of the night, of course, naturally, he was a salty dude about it. I cut out most of the chat, but it was entertaining for most people on the server. I ransom him for about 300K, and I give him a little reminder there that, hey, you should pay it. I'm serious. And he was fumbling in the Mode Trader app or something, couldn't send it to me, never ended up sending it. I gave him like a minute, 2 minutes, and it stretched into like 5 or 6 minutes, and then I finally said, whatever, this is over with, and this guy's clearly stalling or incompetent or something. So we both go down. And then he goes off in chat saying he's going to grief people, and I've got gray market ships, and I bought a UEC from a streamer, and I don't care if I get banned, blah blah blah, so whatever. Interesting chat, CLG. Here's the Titan drop, and you can see that as soon as I fell out of the back, my velocity stopped right to 0, so you could possibly, as long as you're low enough, do really high speed exits. Here is D4 Mot4's C2. He's sent the elevator up, but he didn't stop to make sure that nobody was around. And he fills it up with medical supplies while I wait for him, and then he comes on up. But what I'd recommend doing, honestly, is stay on the elevator until it starts going up and you make sure nobody's on it, because you can race somebody to the pilot seat if somebody jumps on at the last second. And only jump off the elevator once it starts leaving. That's, you know, CIG has a lot of work to do with the piracy end of things. But, well, D4 Mot 4 was kind of unresponsive in chat. He might not have even had the chat window open. And when he did, well, you know how it is. He didn't want to pay, so we all died. This is Slixx's ship. Slixx, funny guy, didn't bother sending the elevator back up and didn't even look back whenever he left. So the 2-minute timer expired, the elevator went up, and it brings you to the first floor. If you ever go on a C2, by the way, and you're on the first floor, the ladder is faster than the elevator. So if you're going to race in the elevator, and that's his friend, he apparently had backup, that was Rinception. But yeah, to take the ladder, it's faster than the elevator. I beat him to the pilot seat. That was a pretty close one, and he was, yeah, he probably, that was a big oh shit moment for him. Unfortunately, well, let's see here. Slixx on the ground, the owner of the ship, he actually does go and buy all the medical supplies, and his friend here either didn't alert him fast enough, whatever, but the ship ended up with all the medical supplies, and then Slixx and Rinception actually bedlogged during negotiations. I think they thought that they could bedlog, the ship would despawn, and then they could get all their stuff back. I don't know if it actually worked. They bedlogged, then I blew up the ship. You know what, I'm going to have to follow up and ask them if they logged back in and still had a copy of their ship. So, who knows. This is Sigdurr's ship. I cannot believe Sigdurr did not see me. I ran right past him. Maybe it was a lag issue or something, but whatever. They come back before the 2-minute timer is up, though. But, doesn't matter.
Man, this shit fucking sucks.
Yeah, can't say I blame you there. That 2-minute timer is a little bit rough.
Do you mind getting off the ship?
Yeah. Do you mind getting off the ship? And I actually transmit back to him and say, yeah, I kind of do mind. I was being, you know, kind of a jerk. I said I'm friendly enough, but whatever. I beat him to the pilot seat by a good 5 seconds or so. I hear him come up behind me later. He did not make it in time at all.
Just kill me.
And yeah, he took it pretty well, took it kind of badass.
Oh man, you gotta do better than that, dude.
He said, just kill me, and he said, you gotta do better than that whenever your first random attempt failed. C2 is a pretty strong ship, though, especially if you're trying to stay in Armistice so they can't just shoot you in the back of the head. It takes like 2 or 3 ramming attempts from like 200 or 300 meters up. This is the last one of the night. This is Gaird, and he landed his C2 without the landing gear down. So when he came down the elevator clipped down through the ground, and I could have waited. I probably should have waited, but I said screw it, and I raced into the cockpit anyway. He probably would have taken off, lowered his landing gear, and then come back down, and I probably could have snuck on at that point, but whatever. I decided to just pull the trigger anyway. I ransomed him for 75k instead of my usually 300k because the ship was empty, and he was still losing out on the opportunity cost if he didn't make this trade and didn't get me off the ship. So, I mean, end result is kind of the same, but I lowered the ransom because, yeah, there were no actual medical supplies on this ship. We're going to end the night with a blooper. I was all tabbed, I came in hot, and fumbled the controls, and that's the result. Might have gotten an extra C2 if it weren't for this. So that is how to, one way to do piracy in the Nine Tails Blockade event. It's a whole lot of fun. Don't need any expensive ships, just come in with an Aurora and your beacon undersuit, and it's all good. It's a lot of fun. I strongly recommend it.